Hey family, so today I'm excited for yet another day of self-care for myself and taking everyone on the journey. Should have got my tissues first. I got a bit of the sniffles happening today. D. Williams, what's up, Daryl? How you doing, bro? So, today is another day of the 10% Happier Self-Care journey, and I actually started a new course today. It's called Meditation for Skeptics, and this first chapter of this course, this first chapter of this course is called The Case for Meditation. So, if you've been following me, this is actually the third course in this group of courses that I've taken at this point, or I'm starting this one, so this is the third one that I'll be in. And this is the 10% Happier app, which you can download right from the App Store. What's up, Larry? How you doing, bro? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you, Daryl. How's everything going, fellas? And everybody else that's joining, thanks so much for hanging out. So you can download this in the App Store, and to give a little bit of context again about what this app is, it was created by a guy named Dan Harris. Dan Harris is an ABC news anchor who, I guess about maybe a decade ago now, or slightly shy, had a panic attack on the news, and it led him to a whole journey of researching and learning about meditation and mindfulness and self-care to help himself. And then once he went through that journey, he wound up writing a book called 10% Happier, and then he put together this app, which are courses from different authors to teach you meditation and take you through different exercises, and it's incredible. So you should check it out if you get a chance. You can get it right from the App Store, 10% Happier. And what I decided to do was to document my journey going through this particular course. So, meditation for skeptics. So that jumped out to me because I'm a skeptic. I like to consider myself a proper skeptic in that regard. But I'm definitely, it's what led me to my place in life as far as my understandings of life, my beliefs in life, and that kind of thing. And it's really all about being as honest as possible with oneself. That's really what skepticism is all about. Even though many people mistake it for cynicism, which is when you are not open to certain things. Hey, Kevo, how's it going, bro? Happy New Year to you. So this attracted me because I wanted to see, like, what is this all about? So I jumped into this course. Here's the first thing I wrote down for today. One of the things mindfulness meditation is useful for is bringing into awareness a subconscious pattern you were previously unaware of and need to address. Mindfulness meditation is for bringing to awareness a subconscious pattern that you've been unaware of and needing to address. And that really is the whole cake there. I mean, it's about bringing into awareness patterns of keeping your body tight or tense, resorting to certain things to cope with your stress that may or may not be healthy for you. But it's about like bringing all of that into play, laying it out on the table. This is one of the things mindfulness meditation is useful for. It's to lay it all out on the table and to be able to examine it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to find the things that you've been doing that's unhealthy and work through those or let those go and do more things that are healthy for yourself. So that definitely is the case. And as I talked about a few days ago, for the longest time I didn't know mindfulness had to do with not having self-judgment, or not having being aware of something without bringing judgment to it. I didn't know that last part was in there. I thought it simply had to do with being aware And I knew it had something to do with like being respectful. Like if you were saying you were mindful of someone else's, I don't know, they might be studying and you're trying to be mindful, so you might not make as much noise. I knew it had to do with that, but I didn't know that the non-judgmental part was in there. So that was pretty heavy for me. Hey Dennis, thanks for watching. And everybody else, sorry for trying to navigate this stuff. Okay, so second note that I put on here is mindfulness meditation can successfully lead to honesty, gentleness, and compassion with oneself, which is the first key to healing. And that, so honesty, I told you all a few minutes ago, as a proper skeptic, the honesty piece is most important to me. So it really does lead you to honesty about what you're feeling and what you're dealing with. And then because you're not bringing the judgment along the way, you start really opening up and clearing out some things, and you figure out the keys to life and happiness and peace, you know? So that was actually a quote, an original quote that I came up with from studying that information today. And so once again, it's mindfulness meditation can successfully lead to honesty, gentleness, and compassion with oneself, which is the first key to healing. Focus and concentration is the foundational skill of meditation. It stabilizes the mind and makes room for peacefulness. So one of the things that I first learned about meditation, and I realized as someone who's now offering these ideas to others, and maybe one day might actually call himself, a teacher of meditation, I found that, most people thought that clearing your mind and being able to meditate, or let me say it differently. Most people thought that the only way that you were successfully meditating is if you forcefully cleared your mind. And if you were doing what happens to all of us when you try to meditate, which is you have a few moments of being able to focus in, concentrate, and just speak totally clear mind, and then 5 seconds later your mind is like a 2-year-old that's gotten distracted with the newest flashing lights or toys or whatever, just any kind of distraction. And so most people don't realize that process is actually what meditation is all about. Hey Marva, Happy New Year to you. That process of being able to allow your mind to wander and just noticing what you're experiencing and not judging it, being mindful and not judging it, and then using what we're going to talk about in a few minutes, which is called noting, to bring you back to that clear consciousness, that clear focus, that clear concentration. That actually is what meditation is. That's the art of meditation. And eventually, over time, you just get better and better with not being distracted by those thoughts and being able to stay in a place of concentration for longer and longer and longer. But most people don't think they're meditating if they can't clear their mind, and that's the misconception. So focus and concentration is the foundational skill of meditation. It stabilizes the mind and makes room for peacefulness. Many times, it's only when we get this break from our endless mental churn of obsessions and exuberant states that we realize how exhausting our so-called normal state can be. And that's definitely one of the other things I talk about is, like, I make a little joke out of it. I say, like, we're so used to running and gunning. In fact, one of the things that they say about the way that we move is that it's not, and this makes all the sense in the world, it's not really normal. We're not necessarily built, let's put it that way, because norms can be argued. Our bodies aren't built to go on and on nonstop, not taking a break, working for a gazillion hours, not relaxing, always being under a certain kind of stress or worry. That's not what we're built for, you know. So, but the modern world that we live in, and the different ways that we engage, even down to communication or the way we work, the fact that we have to work for our living, and you know, you have different systems and all these different kind of social constructs. You know, the world is what adds those pressures. So really, as most of us know, it's kind of cliche, but I mean, it's so important. This whole game is about you making the time to take out for your self-care, so that all those hustles and bustles of life don't ruin the quality of your life or shorten your life. It's you. It's the responsibility is on us. So I often say that, like, after all the hustle and bustle, when you finally do take a few minutes, whether it's 20 seconds to breathe deeply, or whether it's a whole meditation, when you take those few minutes to like stop your body and just sit and relax and close your eyes, it's almost like your mind is like, okay, thank you. You finally, now we can talk. Because now it's just you and I, like the body's not into it. And so I find that my mind wanders, or has the potential of wandering more, when I decide to take a break. And it seems like it's because of that reaction. My body is finally getting a break. So now it's just me and my brain. And I still got a bunch of responsibilities to take care of. I still got a million worries to think about, a million uncertainties, a million things to plan for, you know, a million things that's just still on the brain. And so your mind just immediately starts rolling. So the point is to not be deterred by that. The point is to be mindful and not be judgmental of yourself when that happens, because it will happen. The point is to know that that's exactly what this whole process is about. So the next thing I had here was bring an attitude of enjoyment to breathing deeply and focusing on your breath. And one thing I want to do right now that I meant to do in the beginning, and I'll start making it a point, is for us together to take, and I'll do this, I'm gonna start doing this every live stream, where we take 20 seconds, because I realize that it's so short and simple that most people can do it, and most of us don't do it, so you immediately feel the benefits. Take 20 seconds to take 3 deep breaths. So we're gonna do it right now. Of course, if you're driving or something like that, then you can't close your eyes. But wherever you are, you can still breathe. So that's what I'm asking you to do right now. Just breathe with me. So we're gonna take 3 deep breaths in and out, and we'll do it with the music. So take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. And one more deep breath in and out. So I like to work in patterns of 3s. And the thing I realized, and if you did that with me, thank you. You know, oh, I love it. Carolyn is counting, right? I love it, Carolyn. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm actually getting ready to read y'all the comment too. It's so simple. It's so overlooked. It's so attainable. It's so doable. And it's so no excusable. And so, like, I always try to find the most accessible ways for us to get in on experiences, whether it be music, here in this case meditation, whether it be learning, you know, something, which is the same thing here, but learning a skill. I think the easier you can make it, the better. All of us have 20 seconds in our day to take 3 deep breaths. And the physiological responses and consequences for that is that especially when you exhale, a friend just told me this the other day, that when you exhale, especially long exhales, you naturally slow your heart rhythm down. So I like to take breaths where the amount of time that I inhale is the same as I exhale, and you can use counting. We're going to get to that in a few seconds. We're going to use noting in order to do that. But that's what I encourage you to do. That's what I'll be leading with, even in my expression, trying to lead by example every time we talk. It'll be, let's take 3 deep breaths, and just look at how you feel immediately. So, yeah. Okay, so here's the part that one of the parts that I've really been looking for. Many find the practice of noting helpful. I'm sorry, and I said noting. I pronounced the hell out of that T on noting. I don't know why I just say noting, right? Many find the practice of noting helpful, helpful to help them to stay on track. Noting is the skillful use of thinking to hack thinking. It's the skillful use of using thinking to hack thinking. So I realized this even before I knew that there was a term for it. Oh, and in fact, let me pause for a second, and because I want to read Caroline. I'm sorry if I pronounced it the wrong way. So Caroline says, meditation increases longevity according to Joe Dispenza. Will there be a group meditation? Yes. So Caroline, I'm gonna assume that it's Caroline. Look at the last post, not the last post because I done put up 3 now. Look at the post on my timeline about 3 or 4 posts ago where I said, look out for 5M. I'm creating a new live experience that's called 5M. And it's going to incorporate music, movement, meditation, mindfulness, and mantra. So the answer is yes. And yes, so you said please inbox you if I do group meditation. So I will inbox you, and I agree. Thank you so much for that. So noting is using thinking to hack thinking. I realized early on, as I was starting to learn how to breathe deeply and do deep belly breathing, that your mind is going to wander, so you have to find something to refocus and to center yourself back in. So I realized that just saying to yourself the words in and out while inhaling and exhaling allows you to stay focused. You are thinking about something because you have to think about something, right? There's no way to totally stop your mind from thinking at all. And anybody that tells you that is full of shit, because there's no way to do that. But what you can do is narrow your thinking down, and the goal is to narrow it all the way down to just the experience of breathing, or the experience of just being in your body and just feeling the sensation of your body. So I realized that using in and then out and thinking about that while I was doing that was really helpful. And the biggest reason why I stumbled upon that was because when you go and you breathe out, you're almost saying out. So, and then same way in, because your mouth is closed and blah, blah, blah. So that's a form of noting. Another example would be just simply counting the number of breaths as you inhale and exhale. And so many people find this practice helpful to stay on track. It's normal for your thoughts to wander. When you give your body a break, the mind starts to move twice as fast. Mindfulness is about commitment to a non-judgmental process of guiding yourself. Notice the wandering, then use the noting to hone back in to focused concentration. And that's all an original thought that I just wrote. I'm actually going to put it in my series on medium.com if you are already following me. look me up on medium.com/Aaron Hill TV. I'm basically writing a book. I'm writing like 5 books right now. And you can go read the books right now, right on Medium, because I put my entries there every day. So medium.com /Aaron Hill TV. And look at the 5 books that I have there. Or it's 3 that's published. 2 that I'm about to publish. And I'm probably going to do that right after we finish this live stream. Hey, Cuzzo, Eric, Miss Vidal, thanks for watching. So this is actually something I'm getting ready to put up right after we finish the stream on Facebook as a quote. It is normal for your thoughts to wander. When you give your body a break, the mind starts to move twice as fast. Mindfulness is about commitment to a non-judgmental process of guiding yourself. Notice the wandering, then use noting to hone back in to focus concentration. That's the quote. And then last but not least, also use scanning of the body as another form of noting. They say that you can either focus on your breath and your breathing, or you can focus on just the sensations you feel in your body and just scanning your body to find where you're holding tension. This was something I learned back in 2007 when I started teaching music. I started teaching piano. And one of the biggest things that I read about and learned was that most people, as they're practicing music, have their shoulders hunched and real tight. And it's because they're nervous about their choices and, they're in their minds about this process. And that's where they hold their nervousness or their fear. And so I started having the students to just pause out of nowhere and just say, like, feel your shoulders, are they relaxed? And a lot of times what would happen would be this. They would go, oh wow, and then you would see this, and they didn't realize that whole time they were holding their shoulders. We do that regularly with most activities, but in piano, like, it was real, obvious. So scanning the body and using that as noting is a really helpful way to just stay focused, right? So that's really it. That was the lesson that I went through today. The case for meditation. Everybody can meditate. Every single person, especially because it's not like you need time, really. If you have 20 seconds to take 3 deep breaths and be mindful while you're doing that of what you're experiencing, and be gentle with yourself and have compassion for others, congratulations, my friend, you are meditating. If anybody else tell you otherwise, they are full of shit. Because you can go from there and expand into longer times and, being seated and laying on mats and having the right music and all this kind of other stuff. But to be honest, just taking a minute to be mindful and taking deep breaths and stepping back means you're meditating. And that's why, even though I'm now expanding on my expressions of it, I've literally been doing this. I've been meditating for years, even though there are some people who would judge what I was doing and have judged what I was doing as not meditating. But I knew it was, because I was having the same effects that I'm having now. There's just different expressions. And most people, as I think they talk about in this course, where they're trying to help people to get out of their minds about meditation, most people think that they don't have time for meditation because they think about it in some of its expressions where you're seated and you have long periods of time and there's right music and all of that, but it's not that. It is there are different expressions, but it's all of the same. It's like drops of water to an ocean, it's all the same. It just makes up one body of work. So don't let anybody tell you different. In fact, the most accessible thing you can do if you want to get into meditation is start practicing 30 seconds of taking 3 deep breaths and just not judging yourself or the situation or what you're experiencing, and just stepping back to be curious about it. And that's meditation. That's gonna be. I'm gonna be leading with that way more. Like I'm gonna develop a whole course around 30 seconds. Thanks so much, James. James says good stuff. Thank you. All right, so that's about it. Other than that, the background track that you've been hearing is my personal composition called Breath of Life, piano meditation. You can find it everywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, and all that good stuff, on iTunes, Amazon, and that kind of thing. And there's an accompanying guided meditation with that, using the same music, because I wrote this to a guided meditation that I just did called Breathe Deeply, where I lead you through a guided meditation about just breathe, what we just talked about breathing deeply and just taking a few minutes to do that. So if you'd like to check that out, please do, and let me know what you think. And then finally, if you would like to help to support me to continue to do content like this, look at the information that's in the content section of this video. Drop your info, your feedback and your info, and anything that you have to contribute to this conversation. And join me in about 10 minutes for the word of the day, which I'll give it away as a spoiler, will be equanimity. Word of the day. So thanks a lot. Take care. And as always, be well. Peace.